Sun setting low on this. Sun setting low on this late Tuesday afternoon as the Hyannis Harborhawks venture their way all the way out to Wareham. And what an adventure it was. A 2-hour bus ride down Route 6 from Hyannis here to Wareham off the Cape. And kind of a 4th of July hangover here. I mean, what a long bus ride it was in. And now they got here about an hour before the game, and now they got to come out ready to play against a Wareham team that has won 3 straight, including last night's big 2-1 win against Bourne, in which they took first place.
Yeah, Jack. I mean, really, here for Hyannis, they're coming in. Two teams. It hasn't been too long since they played each other. Really, when you look at it, both the teams played a decent amount of games, though, as they come in here. But Hyannis now playing the first place team, the Wareham Gatemen, and I'm telling you, I think I might petition to say that Wareham and Bourne must come eastward onto the Cape. Now, technically, Bourne's already on the Cape, but come eastward into play, because it's a show and go here at Spillane Field, as both teams really just showed up to play. And I mean, most of Wareham's players live off Cape anyway, but still, you hate to see it for Hyannis and take that long drive in a hot little bus and everyone's packed together. So hopefully none of that really changes what happens here today. But you get to see Max Soroller on the mound here, and he is definitely looking for a little bit of finding his way here after playing twice against Brewster, really not having spectacular outings against any. And that was since he had that first outing against Harwich, and then he had the next outing as well, where he looked very much better before those 2 Brewster games. But now he finally gets a game where there's no rain, and you're not playing the Brewster Whitecaps for a second straight time for Soroller.
Well, Max Soroller will start on the mound tonight for Hyannis, but for Wareham, will take the top half of the first inning in the field. It will be Jeff Bain coming off probably his best start of the season at Chatham, where he pitched 4 innings, only gave up 1 hit, and then picked the runner off as well. That's Jeff Bain, a 4.50 ERA. He's been dealt 1 loss on the season. That was his first start against Falmouth, but since has been fantastic in 12 innings pitched, has struck out 8, only walked 4, and given up 10 hits, as Wareham looks to continue their 3-game win streak, in which they took 2 from the Bourne Braves this past weekend. As Brett Netzer, the leadoff man for Hyannis, he steps into the box and watches the first pitch go by for a ball. It will be Nestor, Proctor, and Rutherford, top 3 in the lineup. Then Rogers, Busby, Truitt, and Cullen, Henry, and Peter Zyla in the designated hitter spot to round it out. As Nestor gets a hold of this one and he pokes it straight up the middle. A leadoff base hit for Brett Netzer. 7th straight game that Netzer has hit safely.
And he continues to stay hot here for Hyannis, and a major pickup, and he's been a huge thorn in the side of Wareham for letting him go and him getting hot for Hyannis. And, of course, have to mention what happened last year, or the last time we were here at Spillane Field, a close game between Hyannis and the Wareham Gatemen, and Netzer was part of that one as well. He threw it out at home to save a run. He almost had a game-winning hit as well to left field. So both these teams have been in tight competition, playing each other all 3 times, not even just here.
Ford Proctor wants the first pitch go upstairs for a ball. As Brett Netzer has really turned it on here in Hyannis after getting that starting spot out in right field. Bain comes set. We'll throw over to first and check Netzer.
But Netzer continues to stay hot and kind of placed in that position that normally Trey Truitt sits at in the leadoff spot. Trey Truitt batting 6th tonight. Yesterday he was batting 5th, so Hyannis is now trying to move him around, as they've seen with Netzer and his hitting ability. He can be a powerful leadoff man for them.
Brett Netzer leading things off for Hyannis yesterday. Collected 1 hit and 4 at-bats, also walked. The 1-0 pitch is fouled off by Proctor out of play and onto the roof. A local high school near us, next to the field, next to Spillane Field. Bain checks the sign from Wenson out of Michigan, and he'll throw over to first, where Gavin Sheets is. will be Ryan Tovlin at third base, and then the two middle infielders and Preston Grand Prix and Cole Freeman at second. Bain comes set. He kicks and fires the 1-1, and this one is fouled off again. Third base side out of play into the stands. Alex Destino getting the start in left field tonight. Joey Bartosik, the leadoff hitter for the Gatemen, in center. And in his first start here on the Cape, it will be in right field. It will be Austin Wade. As Proctor watches this one go by for a ball. It's a 2-2 count.
And of course, talking for Hyannis, first time in about a week that they're seeing a Western opponent, as they had 5 straight games against Eastern teams.
Bain will check first once again, and playing those 5 games against those Eastern teams, 2 wins and 3 losses on that road trip out east, excuse me. Here's a 2-2 pitch. This one is flied into center field. Bartosik should have no problem, and he'll put away the first out of the inning. Nestor will trot back onto first, and there's one away.
Yeah, when you just look at the record, though, for Hyannis, of the 2 and 3 against the opponents, really only one game was really when they just couldn't get anything together, and that was the game against Orleans. I mean, you talk about every other game. Brewster, they came back and fought, only lost 13-10. The 2 games against YD, they lost that one, crazy outcome there, 8-7. They beat them eventually at McKeon Park, and then you beat Chatham the 10-0, and so really just went back and forth. Aside from that Orleans game, they did pretty well and just weren't able to collect at least one more win against the YD Red Sox, and maybe had a chance for 2 possibly against Brewster.
Zach Rutherford stepping to the plate, and aside from that shutout by Orleans, last 7 games. Oh, Nestor goes to first, and they're going to call a balk on Jeff Bain. They're going to say he moved his shoulder. So Nestor trots into,
because he probably would have been tagged out there with the throw over. Bain had a quick throw, and Nestor kind of hesitated, sliding in for a second, delayed, and they probably would have had the tag on him, but now he puts himself in scoring position because of the balk from Bain.
no pitch on the count to Rutherford, but now a pitch, and it's a fastball that comes in for a strike. As I was mentioning, besides the shutout by Orleans, 52 runs scored for Hyannis in the last 7 games. Here's the pitch, as this one is fouled out of play. Quickly an 0-2 count to the Cape Cod Player of the Week in Zach Rutherford, who ended his 7-game hitting streak. Came around to score both times. The 0-2 is up in the zone for a ball.
And he gets that honor with his family, being here on Cape. And I haven't physically seen them yet, but he has have word that they are going to be here, and that takes some serious dedication to take those at least the hour-and-a-half trip up here to Spillane Field.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss from Zach Rutherford. It's his 5th strikeout in 3 games, and there's 2 down here as Brett Netzer is still stranded on second.
The left fielder, number 2,
and that's
Jordan Rogers.
Disappointing for Rutherford, but recently for Hyannis, it doesn't end there once you put him down and you have another out to get, because then you got another power hitter here and Jordan Rogers coming up to bat.
Well, here is the junior from Tennessee and Jordan Rogers. He faces Bain here with 2 outs and a runner on second. Curveball is in there for a strike, and Jordan Rogers has certainly been seeing a lot of curveballs since his 2-home-run day at Yarmouth Dennis. Grand slam and a 2-run shot, was 1 for 4 last night against YD with 2 RBIs. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Bain. This one's popped up out of play. Rogers also walked last night. He's walked in the last 5 games. Impressive from Jordan Rogers, just getting on base in every way possible. The 0-2 pitch from Jeff Baines. This one is popped up into no man's land. Gavin is going out. Coming in from right is Wade, and he'll make the grab. Third and final out. So after the single by Nestor, Hyannis goes down in order. We'll head to the bottom half of the first to see Max Roller get his first appearance here in Wareham. It's a 0-0 scoreline on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the first inning is Max Roll will take the mound for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and we've talked a little bit about him already. He's really struggled in his last two starts, both against Brewster, an incredibly talented hitting team, Brewster, as they put up a combined 11 earned runs to go along with 13 hits in those two starts. And Sorolla will face a different team in Wareham as they're middle of the pack hitting-wise. They put it together through good pitching and timely hitting, but it should be a very different day here for the fifth start on the Cape.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would have to look for it at that point, and just everything he's gone through against the two Brewster games.
First pitch to Joey Bartosik is a cross at the knees for a strike.
I mean, we had that one game where he was phenomenal, and he was hitting a lot of his breaking pitches. He was hitting down low there, but he just couldn't seem to get that going against the Brewster Whitecaps.
Joey Bartosik, he swings at this one into right, and it's right at Brett Netzer as he will retire Bartosik for the first out.
And I mean, for Sorolla, that's how you have to get it done. I mean, if anything, this field helps him and helps any pitcher really coming in here, because the outfield is just absolutely huge. And if you can get pop-ups all day, I mean, that'll work for you. Line drives are going to possibly be killers, but fly balls.
Cole Freeman steps to the plate. The LSU Tiger, as you watch the first pitch go by for a ball, and 412 really to center field. 330 down that right field line and 315 down the left as Soroller misses again to move the count to 2-0. Cole Freeman really ripping things up here on the Cape, hitting 424 in 9 games. Already has collected 2 doubles on 14 hits as he fouls this one back. Cullen will throw it back to Soroller. Cullen doing the catching tonight for Hyannis. Left to right in the infield, it will be Busby, Proctor, Rutherford, and Cody Henry. And in the outfield, left to right, Rogers, Truitt, and Netzer. 2-1 pitch. nails Cole Freeman right in the arm, but the home plate umpire looks like he's going to call him back and say that he leaned into that pitch, and they're going to call it a strike.
Yeah. And unfortunately for us, Jack, it's a little hard as we have a little defensive netting in front of us here. So it's hard to tell how much he leaned in to it, but had to have been enough. I mean, you can see at times where guys will subtly kind of just lean forward as if they're kind of check a little bit to see if the ball's going to curve back in and they get hit. But, I mean, for Freeman, it must have been pretty blatant. He must have really just leaned in and took it on the midsection there for that to be called a strike.
You want any way to get on base, really, but really leaned into the inside pitch there. The 2-2 is at the knees, but it will not hit. Excuse me, it was a 3-2 pitch as Cole Freeman will work his way to first on a walk. Look, I guess usually what they do when a pitch comes across that you lean into is they'll put it as a strike, but I guess they count it as a ball. And nonetheless, Alex Destino stepping in, chatting up his teammate and Chris Cullen, both out of South Carolina. Soroller throws over to first to check Cole Freeman.
And look, it's not like for Sorolla that he's not going to have any kind of competition. I mean, you got to go through a big matchup here when you talk about Destino, and then you got Colton Shaver and Gavin Sheets, who are major power hitters on this team for Wareham.
Freeman takes off on the first pitch as a curveball at the knees for a strike to throw down. Hits Freeman right in the head. He's going to run into third as that one trickles out into left field. So Cole Freeman with the stolen base, and I don't really know what they're going to rule this one as. Is just kind of a freak occurrence where it nailed the top of his helmet as he was sliding in.
Yeah, I really don't think that should be put down as anything. That was really, I mean, Proctor had his glove kind of in that area. He was waiting for it to drop, and Freeman kind of slid in at the perfect moment that ball was going to land into the glove of Proctor. So I don't think you can really rule that as an error on Cohen. He had a nice throw down. It just happened to be that the player got there first and happened to bounce off of his head.
0-1 pitch to chopper right back to Soroller. He looks at home, but instead he'll just flip it over to first. So a run scores in Cole Freeman. Alex Destino credited with the RBI, but there's two away here in the first inning.
And I think you'll take that if you're Soroller. I mean, look, after going what you've done against Brewster and your team fighting back in that game, while you don't want to give up runs, I think you can give up a little bit here in this game when you've seen what your team can do. But for him, you just don't want to get a little out of control because that's what Brewster did to him. They kind of took at him bit by bit and then had that one big inning.
Well, here's Colton Shaver, the 4-hitter out of BYU. Shaver now with 5 home runs on the year. As that one misses upstairs, it's a 2-0 count. Since we've seen Shaver, he's collected 7 RBIs and 3 home runs, 2 of which came in a 7-6 loss against Catuit. The pitch is chopped down the third base line. They're going to call it fair. Busby loses it on the backhand. And Colton Shaver stands in safely at first. A tough play for Busby down the line. We'll see if they rule it a hit. Most likely they will, as Busby was way deep in the hole there.
Yeah, I think they have to. There would have been no play to make over there first because it hopped and skipped away. He didn't know where to find it, but I'm willing to bet that those home runs that Shaver has, all of them were on road games here. There's no way. If he might have one here, but that would be it for the home runs that any player has for the Wareham Gatemen.
All 3 of those home runs coming out of Wayfields, actually. 1 at Brewster, 2 at, and then 2 at Catuit. As Gavin Sheets, another home run hitter, steps in. He swings through the first pitch, fouls it off. Gavin Sheets, similar to Colton Shaver, just a big power hitter. He's got 3 home runs and 14 RBIs on the year. Those 14 RBIs, second behind Colton Shaver's 21. Curveball from Soroller misses low. It's a 1-1 count. Sheets 1 for 4 yesterday against Bourne, but he struck out 3 times. He did come around to score, however, on his lone single. Soroller delivers and fouled off once again by Gavin Sheets, a 1-2 count. Here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first and a runner on. It's a 1-0 lead for Wareham after Cole Freeman stole second and third. And Destino chopped a high grounder back to Soroller, who just flipped it over to first, allowing Freeman to score. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball in the dirt, swing and a miss. Cullen is going to throw it down to first, and he'll make the out, record the out, excuse me, and the side is retired now for the Wareham Gatemen, but they do strike one across in the bottom half of the first inning. We'll head to the top of the second. It's a 1-0 lead for Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the second, a 1-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen.
The third baseman, number 3, Dylan Busby.
Dylan Busby makes his way to the plate, and Busby with a great day yesterday for Hyannis, as showed up 15 minutes before the game, threw on his uniform, and was called upon to pinch hit in the 4th inning, knocked across 2 runs, and then reached base in his next 2 at-bats as well.
Yeah, I mean, simply spectacular. Just coming in and just after hitting home runs, and that's all he really did.
First pitch to Busby is in there for a strike. As Jeff Bain, after he gave the single to Nestor, really took care of the side there. Struck out Rutherford and got 2 flyouts. As Busby does not offer at that outside pitch, count moves to 1-1.
Not only did he hit home runs, but then he hit home runs with a metal bat. And then he immediately switched back over basically the next day and hit wood again.
A 1-1 pitch from Bain. This one is fouled off into the screen behind home plate, and looks like it went off the mask of Wentz.
And it literally landed right between the feet of the ball boys of the Wareham Gatemen. It bounced off the top of the post, landed behind the net, and probably 2 feet away from the ball bucket right by the Wareham ball boys.
Convenient way for the ball boy not to move and get off of his seat. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the outside corner, just misses. Muggy evening here in Wareham after thunderstorms all this morning. The 2-2. This one is popped up, moving into no man's land. Coming out to grab it is the shortstop in Grand Prix, and he makes the catch, a good catch at that one, as he was facing the bullpen out in left, Hyannis bullpen, and it makes a really tough catch, makes it look easy for the first out.
Yeah, and he was way in Destino's area there. He was basically halfway in to left field making that grab, and luckily he did, because that would have been fair too. And if that one drops, that would have been pretty costly for Grand Prix to run all the way out there and to miss that play.
First pitch to Trey True, misses inside. Trey True with another great day yesterday in the 5-hole. Had 2 hits, including the tying RBI that he pushed across, as the curveball misses from Baines. It's a 2-0 count. Baines kicks and delivers. Truitt swings at this one and pops it up Out to get it is the second baseman, Freeman, in shallow right field, and he will make the grab for the second out of the inning. And there's 2 away.
And this is what I'm talking about when you're playing here at Wareham. If you can force guys to fly out, unless the sun fools you, or unless you get tripped up somewhere, you're going to make a play every time. That's why it's big. If you can catch a pitch that's going to drop low in the strike zone or kind of go below the area, there's times where you have to take it because you're going to only really make plays with line drives or ground balls past the defense.
First pitch to Chris Cullen is across for a strike, and lots of fly balls induced in these first 5 batters, 4 to be exact, 6 batters, excuse me, as Cullen swings through that one, and quickly it's 0-2. So Hyannis has been susceptible to popping out as of late. They've also been susceptible to hitting home runs. None in last night's game, but 3 the night before. Here's the pitch. Cullen swings. It's popped lightly into shallow right center field. And coming in to make the grab is Joey Bartosik. 3 up and 3 down here in the second for Hyannis. It's a 1-0 lead for Wareham here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Headed to the bottom of the second inning here. It's Blaine Field. 1-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen.
Third baseman, number
As they will send up the third baseman and the 6th hitter. As it will be Adrian Tovalin, third baseman from Azusa Pacific. As Max Roller on the mound. His first pitch is lined weakly at second as Zach Rutherford is there. He'll make the grab. 1 pitch and 1 out for Max Roller.
Yeah, and you can see where normally it's kind of very apparent at Wareham, and partly may have been due to the rain as well, but these balls, if they get in the air, they are sitting up there a long time. I mean, that line drive there, any other place probably went pretty much faster over the head of Rutherford, even though he's standing on the grass.
Well, here's the newcomer in Austin Wade, the left-handed hitter. Roller misses wide with that pitch. Austin Wade out of TCU. Hit 286 there. Roller pumps across a strike. 286 in 64 games played. Had 11 doubles and 27 RBIs with a .434 on-base percentage as Soroller pumps across a strike at the knees. It's a 1-2 count. Soroller kicks and fires. Curveball misses low as Cullen can't block it. It gets away from him. Austin Wade, a junior out of TCU. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Max Soroller. Fastball. This one is chopped to second. Rutherford's got it. He'll throw on to first and make the play for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and this is really all Soroller needs to keep doing. I mean, guys are just inducing plays into the defense of Hyannis. I mean, that one run was only scored because of a walk by him, and he even got a pitch back to try and take away that walk after the hit by pitch was canceled off. But then all it's really been is Colton Shaver with that one hit. It was a tough hit down the third base line.
Well, here's Harrison Wentz, the catcher out of Michigan. As Soroller pumps across a curveball, and it hits the zone. Wenson, he started 0 for 10 here on the Cape League, but since he's 6 for his last 13. Slowly heating up. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It misses on the outside corner. Joey Bart also catching for Wareham, as him and Wenson usually trade off. You see every other game. Soroller misses low with the curveball. It's a 2-1 count. Soroller kicks and delivers. Just misses that outside corner.
Yeah, and Soroller, even though he's at this 3-1 count, you can just tell. Looks just a lot more comfortable. He's throwing his pitches and getting them in there, mostly for strikes, but now he still has a 3-1 count.
The 3-1 pitch from Max Soroller. Fastball. This one is popped up. Out goes Rutherford, and in comes Netzer from right. He'll make the grab, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Max Soroller here in the second. Still a 1-0 lead for Wareham. We'll head to the third. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Headed to the top of the third inning here at Spillane Field, a 1-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen. And Gabe, some sparks out in right field down the foul line where the Wareham Gatemen bullpen is. Looks like there might be some flames flickering over there, but not for warmth reasons. As Cody Henry swings at the first pitch, it's chopped right in front of Wenson. He gathers it and throws on to first. There's one away. Unfortunate for Cody Henry there as he just gets too much of a piece of that ball.
Yeah, and Wenson kind of had to bare hand that one kind of behind him because it kind of popped up and turned back into home plate. But, yeah, Wareham, not for warmth. They don't need that. They use the smoke to keep the bugs away for the guys who are just having to sit on the bullpen bench.
Zyler swings at the first pitch, pops it up into center field. Easy play here for Joey Bartosik. 2 pitches and 2 outs for Jeff Bain, who has now cruised through the Hyannis lineup aside from the man coming up to the plate and Brett Netzer, who singled in his first at-bat.
Yeah, and funny that it happens to be the one of the Wareham Gatemen's own that gets that hit. But, yeah, Hyannis haven't really found ways. They have a lot of contact against Bain, but none of that contact has been good for them so far.
Here's the first pitch from Bain to Netzer, and it's in there for a strike. Gabe, I went to my car about 15 minutes before game time to get a jacket because I knew about the bugs. Left the jacket at home. So my arms and legs will be, to say the least, red after tonight. Netzer shows bunt, but that one is low. Count was a 2-1.
I got some bug spray.
That could work.
I'm prepared.
Bug spray could work. I do. You know what? I do have bug spray in my car. My mom put it in there. Haven't used it. 2-1. Netzer swings at this one and goes out in the center. And once again, Bartosik has no problem. Another 1-2-3 inning. 2 flyouts and a ground out as we head to the bottom of the third. It's a 1-0 lead for Wareham. Max Roller trying to keep it that way. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is a leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod. With 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Grand Prix from Cal Berkeley.
It'll be the 9-hitter and then the top of the lineup for Wareham to lead off the third. Preston Grand Prix, the shortstop, in that 9 spot as he has been most of the season. So Roller on the pitch. He misses on the inside half. Preston Grand Prix out of Cal University. As he pops this one up, it's going to stay in the infield. Over comes Busby, and he will make the first out of the inning. Yeah, foul out by Preston Grand Prix.
Jack, I thought that was coming right for us. I saw that pop into the air, and I was like, this is it. And, of course, it happens when we're on top of a perch where I have a net blocking us from other pitches, but we can't block it when it pops right into the air.
Aside from the base knock from Colton Shaver tonight. That's been the only base hit here for Wareham. Joey Bartosik watches strike one go by in his second at-bat as he flied out to right in his first. Wareham has struggled greatly against right-handed pitching this season. Bartosik fouls this one out of play. In 464 at-bats, only 108 hits, amounting to a .233 batting average against right-handed pitching. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Max Soroller. Curveball, it's hit off the end of the bat. One bouncer to Rutherford, long throw, and with the speed from Bartosik, he will beat out the infield hit. It came off the bat a little funky, hit it right on the end of the bat, which didn't give it any kind of speed going up the middle, and Rutherford just can't get the throw in on time.
And to go with the stat that you just mentioned, Jack, you can see it so far when they're going against Soroller. They've had one hit since that one little infield single, and that walk was the only reason that they've scored a run so far. Everything else, they've just made contact and just haven't been able to capitalize, except for the miscue that Soroller had giving up that walk.
Man, he gave that walk to is the man at the plate for Wareham, and Cole Freeman. As he shows bunt, offers at it, but misses. Or excuse me, does not offer at it. Pulls it back, and it's a 1-0 count. Cole Freeman stealing two bases and coming around to score. Alex Destino waiting on deck, credited with the RBI. The 1-0 misses on the outside half, and it's a 2-0 count to the second baseman in Cole Freeman. Well, the rest of the lineup not hitting so hot against righties. Cole Freeman loves them. He's 10 of 25. A 400 average against right-handed hitters as Soroller. He will check Joey Bartosik at first. Soroller comes set. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Bartosik takes off. It's a strike down the middle. The throw from Cullen is not in time. And Joey Bartosik slides in safely here with one out in the bottom half of the third. And the heart of the lineup up for Wareham.
And that was another close play made by Cullen. He's been just missing these Wareham guys sliding in, but that is why Wareham comes in second in stolen bases today with 32 before that one there.
9th stolen base on the year for Bartosik. Team leading. Soroller working a 2-1 count to Freeman. Here's the pitch. This one is chopped to short. Proctor's got it on the backhand. The throw into first, though, is offline. As Cole Freeman, he's got some speed himself, and Proctor rushed the throw. Now runners on the corners with one out in the inning.
Yeah, and Hyannis really just kind of hurting themselves here and allowing these guys to stay on base and not grabbing these outs. Close play at second for the stolen base, and then just can't complete the throw over. And Wareham so far in that one opportunity has been able to profit from those miscues by Hyannis.
Rutherford starting at short last night. Proctor at second, and really Rutherford has been a lot better when he's been playing short, and Proctor's been great when he's been playing second. Both players have more errors in this scenario as Destino, the new batter, swings at the first pitch. Rutherford can't turn two. He'll have to settle for one as he throws out Destino. But nonetheless, Cole Freeman, Joey Bartosik comes to home and scores. It's a 2-0 lead here for the Gatemen.
And Destino getting it done for Wareham with the sacrifice plays. Both times ground ball plays in the infield, and he scored both of the runs so far here for Wareham.
Well, here's Colton Shaver, who has one of the two singles today, either occurring earlier in the inning as Joey Bartosik knocks one in, and first pitch from Sorolla is a strike at the knees to Colton Shaver. Tied second in the league for home runs and leads the league with 21 RBIs after sort of a hot streak. The 0-1 pitch from Max Sorolla. Curveball misses low. It's Freeman now dancing around at second a bit. Incredible how Freeman wasn't even taking off on the pitch, and Rutherford still didn't have a play at second on that chopper. As Sorolla will have to check Freeman, who was way off the bag, dancing around out there. 26 stolen bases at LSU this past season. Already has 4 here, but he's been caught stealing 5 here, excuse me. But he's been caught stealing 3 times.
Yeah, and he's really just trying to move around, trying to get slight in the vision of Sorolla.
1-1 pitch. This one is fouled off behind home plate, out of play.
Because at this point, I don't think Wareham's going to try to aggressively steal third base, but if you just keep some little movement there in the corner of Sorolla's eyes as he's looking around, it could possibly just make him think a little bit more about the pitch that he's going to deal to Shaver.
Sorolla will look back at second. As before that base hit in the second from Colton Shaver, or excuse me, in the first, was 0 for his last 9. The 1-2 pitch from Sorolla off on the play goes Freeman down to third, and there will be no play really for Dylan Busby as Cole Freeman takes third with ease here with 2 outs in the third and a 2-0 lead for the Gatemen.
And I spoke too soon. They are going to aggressively try to steal, and they just found a spot where they thought Sorolla was going to do a breaking pitch and not a fastball. And it dropped in there, and Cullen had no play over because Freeman kept taking big leads over there at second.
Well, Sorolla can get out of the inning if he can get Shaver out. The 2-2 pitch, a big swing and a miss. And that will be it for Wareham here in the third, but they do pump across another run. It's a 2-0 lead headed into the fourth. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 2-0 lead here for Wareham in the top of the fourth inning. And really, Gabe, it's been all Cole Freeman just doing fantastic work on the base path as he's stolen 2 bases, put himself in a scoring position and scored those 2, or excuse me, scored one of the runs as Bartosik, another stolen base that have base paths for Wareham have just been hot, really. First pitch to the batter, and Ford Proctor misses outside. Base paths are really where Wareham is making a living. The 1-0 pitch is low.
And I mean, for Wareham, like I mentioned before, they've just capitalized from Hyannis. They capitalized from the walk that Sorolla dealt early on the first inning, and then from the error thrown by Proctor over to first in the previous one.
Well, this one misses low again as Proctor works the count to 3-0. Proctor flew out to center in his last at-bat. Now Bain trying to come back with something here as Proctor swings at this one and fouls it off. We saw Ford Proctor swing at a 3-0 pitch yesterday as well. Interesting to see, really. You don't see it often. The 3-1 pitch is down the middle as Jeff Bain works the count full.
Especially when that pitch for Proctor, the first one that he fouled off was kind of upstairs too, that he swung at.
Here's the payoff pitch from Bain. This one is grounded to second. Freeman has no problem with it. They'll throw out Proctor at first, and there's one away.
Yeah, Bain's just doing a great job. And
The second baseman, number 15, Zach
just not allowing him. He's not getting strikeouts, really. He only has one on the day for Rutherford, but forcing him to pop out and ground out. And that's really the only strong play that went right down the middle into center field.
First pitch to Zach Rutherford is low. As you mentioned earlier, struck out in his first at-bat. 5th strikeout in the last 3 games. He's been subject to that a little bit more. Swings at this one into center field, and it will land right in front of Joey Bartosik. Second base hit today for Hyannis. There's one aboard with one out here in the 4th.
And that's what you just need to do if you're Hyannis to get going. Find one guy to just get that first hit, and then hopefully more will come and just stick them together. You're only down by 2, and we've seen this team come back against Wareham specifically here at Wareham. They came back 2 different times in that game, almost a third time to win the game. So they're no stranger to what they can do here at this field, but it has to be what Rutherford did there. It has to be some kind of line driver or something in the gap between this defense.
Curveball is in there against Jordan Rogers. It's Hyannis. They've played Wareham 3 times already this season. They've won 2 of those meetings, including their first win of the season, as Rogers fouls this one off of his foot, and it'll be an 0-2 count.
And you wonder, for manager Gatemen, is he going to try and employ the same tactic that Wareham does, try to steal bases and put guys in scoring position? Or is he going to try and let the bats get a little more hotter first and put a little more thinking into Bain on the mound before they start stealing bases?
0-2 pitch from Bain is way upstairs.
And the weird thing about Bain, while he has all these outplays in the defense, aside from that 3rd inning, he's had to throw a decent amount of pitches every time to a batter where he's throwing upstairs and outside and drawing a lot of balls, but just not many walks yet.
Bain will check first. Rutherford slides in safely as Hyannis finding themselves down 2-0 here in the 4th inning. Have made their way back against YD in the past 2 games, being down early on. Here's the pitch. Rogers lines this one into right field, and it will split the outfielders. This one gets away from Bartosik. Rutherford is in at 3rd, and Rogers slides safely into 2nd. It's a 1-out double for Jordan Rogers, and now there's runners in scoring position for Hyannis with 1 out in the 4th.
And that's what you're talking about. And who else to do it but Jordan Rogers to get another solid contact play? Bartosik kind of loses it in the field, which gives Rutherford an easy job to get over to 3rd. And now Hyannis has 2 guys in scoring position, and you got Dylan Busby coming up to bat here. He's got some power, and he puts one anywhere. I mean, this is the one place, I think, where if you put it into left field and you got a guy on 3rd, if you get it far enough, you're going to probably try and run to home.
Ball bounced really away from Bartosik, is almost the opposite direction that he was running. As Dylan Busby at the dish for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch is a curveball on the outside half that is in there for strike 1.
And then the other thing that helps for Hyannis, they've been getting a lot of flyouts anyway. So if you can get a flyout here, this time is the one that can actually help you and score the first run.
It's got to be deep enough, though, as this curveball hits at the knees and quickly an 0-2 count to Dylan Busby. Strong arms out in center field. from Joey Bartosik. Destino also a decent arm in left, and we've yet to see Wade's. Here's the pitch. This one is just chopped foul down that third base line.
Busby would like that one. He's had unfortunate times of dealing plays that are right on that third base line a lot of times, which is tough for any kind of third baseman to make plays. And he would like to get that one and put the own medicine there to Tovaline and get at least one run to score, probably even two, depending on how it rolled.
Bain will come set, working on an 0-2 count to Dylan Busby with 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch on the outside half. It's called strike 3. Dylan Busby can't believe it, but Jeff Bain gets a huge out here in the 4th. And now there's 2 outs away for Trey Truitt.
Yeah, he pumped the fastball right by him, and just probably judging by the look of Busby, he thought it was probably outside and a little upstairs for him to try and take a swing at, and it was just giving it to him, call for a strike there. And it's unfortunate for Hyannis that a guy like him goes down with that strike, and now you're hoping Trey Truitt just to get a little single somewhere and at least score 1 run.
Well, Trey Truitt certainly did work yesterday. 2 singles, one of those an RBI. He will face Bain here with 2 outs in the inning and runners on second and third as Bain misses upstairs for a ball. Truitt has got to work some magic here in the 4th. Bain comes set. He kicks and fires. This one is low. It's a 2-0 count to Trey Truitt.
I mean, at this point, if you're Truitt, you got to work Bain here a little, even if it means you can't get a hit and you get on base. Let the next guy come on, which would be Chris Collin. Just keep making Bain work.
Here's the pitch. It's down the middle. Two nothing lead here for the Gatemen at Spillane Field. Hyannis threatening with 2 runners on. And Trey Truitt at the dish. The 2-1 pitch from Bain. This one is swung on into deep right field. Going back is Wade. He turns around and he'll make the grab at the warning track. Long fly ball that teases some Hyannis fans. But nonetheless, the side is retired as Hyannis. They strand 2 here in the 4th, and their best scoring opportunity of the game will head to the bottom half of the inning. It's a 2-0 lead for the Gatemen on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 4th here at Spillane Field. 2-0 lead for Wareham as Max Soroller has pitched well so far through 3 innings. Only has led up 2 base hits. 3 base knocks. But on the base paths, Wareham has been great as Gavin Sheets. He checks swings at this, but fouls it off third base side into the dugout of Hyannis.
And that's the best way I think you put it for Soroller. He's having a much better outing than when you saw against Brewster.
Sheets smokes this one into right, as it will be a long single for Gavin Sheets. Netzer comes up with it.
And even with that hit,
The third baseman, number 17.
for the most part, he's left guys stranded. He hasn't even let guys on at all. And it's just been a couple of things here and there for Hyannis. And unfortunately for them, they just couldn't capitalize on anything in the previous inning where they had two guys in scoring position. And one hit could possibly just change the outlook of this whole game, but Hyannis is just not able to get in that inning.
Here's Adrian Tovaline, who's hitting 194 here on the Cape, but has a 3-game hitting streak. As he doubled against Falmouth 2 days ago. And last night, a 2-run shot against Bourne. Here's the first pitch from Soroller. It's up in the zone. Tovaline at 290 this past season for Azusa Pacific. 8 home runs with 41 RBIs. As a pitch from Max Soroller is in there for a strike. Soroller staring in for the sign. He finally gets it. He'll come set. He'll kick and deliver the curveball. Swung on and fouled straight back. And now it's a 1-2 count. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning as Gavin Sheets stands on first. Leading off the inning with this big single out on the right. The 4th on the day for Wareham. He'll throw over and check Sheets. Who surprisingly has 2 stolen bases on the year. Gavin Sheets, not really a big stolen bases guy. Had none during the regular season, as this one is flied into deep center field. Trey Truitt is under it, and he'll make the grab for the first out here in the 4th.
Yeah, and this is where it hurts when you play at Wareham because any kind of solid contact really just goes unnoticed here unless it's going to drop out somewhere. But it just hasn't done that today. And Truitt, a guy who can get really anywhere when he plays in center field, barely needs to move for that one.
And you mentioned Truitt's last hit deep at the warning track and right, and it could have been out anywhere else. Sheets takes off. Its pitch is swung on. The throw from Cullen is in time as he finally throws out a Wareham Gatemen on the base paths in Gavin Sheets. It looks like it was a hit and run, but Austin Wade just misses on that high fastball. There's 2 away.
And that's got a feel good for Cullen after having 2 close shots at second, and he finally gets one away. Again, Sheets and clears the bases.
3 stolen bases allowed tonight from Chris Cullen. Granted, they're two of the faster players on the Cape, and Joey Bartosik and Cole Freeman. Also 2 of the faster players in collegiate baseball. The 1-1 pitch. This one is ripped into deep left center field. Truitt going back, and he's going to make the diving grab as he falls down. He'll make the 3rd out of the inning. Trey Truitt, you mentioned that range as he had to run a long way to track that one down. But there's 3 up and 3 down here in the 4th for Max Soroller. We'll see if Jeff Bain comes out for Wareham. He hasn't gone more than 4 innings this whole season for the Gatemen. It's a 2-0 lead for Wareham here at Spillane Field. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
gentlemen.
Top of the 5th inning of play here at Spillane Field. 2-0 lead for the Gatemen.
The catcher, number
As Chris
33,
Cullen
Chris Cullen
will come to the
from
plate
South
for
Carolina.
Hyannis in his 2nd plate appearance tonight. Flew out into center field in his last one. As Jeff Bain still on the mound for Wareham. This is his longest outing on the season. Gets across a strike against Cullen. Here's the pitch from Bain. Curveball again hits the zone. It's an 0-2 count.
Yeah, and Bain, no surprise, he's coming back out here after really only allowing that 4th inning to be the big one for Hyannis.
Curveball is fouled off by Chris Cullen.
Found a way to get out of it after having 2 guys in scoring position at 3rd and 2nd. And it's looked pretty good. Going into that 4th inning now, I look to try and keep going here against Cullen.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. This one again fouled off into the dugout of Hyannis. It's Bain with a huge strikeout against Dylan Busby. Caught him looking on the curveball in the outside half. That was with 1 out and runners on 2nd and 3rd. The 0-2 pitch again. This one is low. Gave some good news from a Hyannis Harbor Hawks standpoint. Jackie Bradley Jr., the former Harbor Hawk, starting in the All-Star game this year as Cullen mashes that one down the left field line, but it slices foul.
Yeah, spectacular news for Hyannis. Bradley Jr. getting to play as having a great season for the Boston Red Sox and helping out here for Hyannis, as any Cape team loves to have a player get in there. And Bradley Jr., one of Hyannis' most recent players.
The 1-2 pitch is a little bit too inside.
And
4 other Red Sox players in the starting lineup for the All-Star game in the American League. Pretty incredible. I think it's more incredible about the Cubs, though. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Bain, and that one nicks Chris Cullen. Looks like on the forearm of his right arm. But nonetheless, Cullen leads off the inning, and we'll get on first.
Baseman, number 19,
And
Cody Henry
to Chris
from
Cullen,
Alabama.
you'll take it. I mean, went to an 0-2 count, and he fought his way back into it, and then he gets hit by Bain. So he puts himself on base. But as you were about to mention, yeah, the Cubs, entire infield in the All-Star game. First time since 1963 that it's happened.
Unbelievable. Throw over to first from Bain. He'll check Cullen. And I can't fathom that. Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant. Unbelievable. And then Addison Russell as well. And then you got to mention Ben Zobrist. Absolute utility stud, as that one is way up in the zone. That's an incredible lineup, really, for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Those 4 infielders. I mean,
they proved it now by everyone being named to an All-Star. I mean,
Yeah.
part of it is a fan vote, but at the
a
same
lot of it is
a fan vote.
It is a fan vote, let's be honest.
There's a lot of Cubs fans now with how they're doing.
The 1-0 pitch to Henry. It's on the inside half for a strike.
And then Mike Trout at this point in his 6th appearance. I mean, that's basically
Been
just
in the
like
league 6 years.
Might as well just get an invite, not even need a fan vote at this point.
There's a pitch from Bain. That one a little bit too inside. Mike Trout's been in the league for 6 years. That's pretty scary.
Probably more scary as the Angels haven't done much with him.
Yeah, that's another subject to debate, as Jim Lawler, the pitching coach, will trot out to the mound to talk with Jeff Bain here. He's laboring a little bit here in the 5th. He hit Chris Cullen after working the count to 0-2, and now it's a 2-1 count to the switch hitter and Cody Henry.
Yeah, and if you're Hyannis, you're probably hoping, which they're going to leave Bain in at this point, that they don't go to someone new to really switch things up, that they keep him in because they're kind of seeming a little bit better. He's throwing balls a lot more than he even had in the beginning, which he was already. And they're really sitting back. I mean, Cullen, even though he went to an 0-2 count, fought back at him, got hit, and then got on base. And Henry kind of doing the same thing here, sitting back and waiting.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss from Cody Henry. Henry had a great day yesterday, 3 for 3 with a double. Came around to score and walked. He had that leadoff double in the 8th inning that sparked a 3-run bottom of the 8th to take the lead against YD. As he mashes this one down the right field line, but it's making its way foul into the Wareham bullpen. Sounds like his bat sounded like it broke on the pitch.
Yeah, Wenson's going to go deliver it back to Hyannis. It sounded like it, and some nice power for a broken bat. And you can see Hyannis now with these contacts. I mean, you saw in the previous inning, they're putting it in places that the defense isn't for Wareham. And now Wenson gets an opportunity, though, to go and talk to Bain here for a second. But for Hyannis, you just had to find a way to find more base runners and find at least one run to cross at some point, because you had that big opportunity in the 4th and you let it slip away. And with the leadoff man aboard, you have to try and find a way to get Cullen to move over, even if it's by sacrificing an out or two.
Chris Cullen still stands on first. There's no outs here in the 5th. A 2-0 lead for Wareham. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Cody Henry. And they're going to say that he did not go around on the pitch. It was a curveball low in the dirt. And Henry works the count full now.
And he was close. I mean, he probably got almost all the way through and probably just held his wrist back further enough where it didn't completely go vertical to home plate.
The payoff pitch from Jeff Baines as Henry fouls this one off into Wenson, who has been taking a beating. As home plate umpire will go give Jeff Bain a ball as Wenson shakes that one off.
Yeah, and Henry just keep fighting here. You saw what Cullen did up at bat, and you've seen with Bain that he's prone to throwing balls at different times. So you're kind of just fouling off strikes at any point and just waiting for one to just kind of miss for Bain and get a base out of it.
I'm set. The 3-2 delivery again. This one is chopped foul into the Wareham dugout on the first base side. You know, you mentioned the infield for the Cubs making the all-star lineup. Dexter Fowler, John Lester, and Jake Arrieta also named all-stars. And you bet that Arrieta is going to start. We'll do it again. The pitch, again, fouled off by Cody Henry. Out of play.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people, though, that'll argue Clayton Kershaw as well, even though the spectacular season that Arrieta is having. Kershaw, his strikeout to walk ratio is absolutely insane.
Bain comes set and delivers. This one's low, and a great at-bat from Cody Henry as he produces a no-out walk. And now the first 2 runners are on here in the 5th for Hyannis. And then looks like it will be it for Jeff Bain as head coach Jerry Weinstein makes his way out of the dugout. Shakes the young man's hand and grabs the ball. Good work today from Jeff Bain, who pitched 4 innings strong, made his way into the 5th, but he will leave 2 runners on for Hyannis with no outs here in the 5th inning. We'll take a quick break here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Stick with us. 2-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen.
Number 5, Peter Zyla.
Pitching change here for Wareham. It will be the left-handed pitcher and Nick Sprengel out of the University of San Diego, the sophomore, standing at 6'2", 215 pounds. In his 5th appearance here on the Cape, as he will face the designated hitter in Peter Zyla. And you already see Adrian Tovalin at third creep into the grass, expecting the bunt with no outs here and 2 runners on. Sprengel delivers. It is a bunt from Zyla. This one is fair, stays fair. The throw from Tovalin, though, is not in time. Peter Zyla beats out a fantastic bunt down that third base line, and the bases are loaded now with no outs for the top of the lineup.
Yeah, fantastic bunt. Almost outdone by an amazing throw by Tovalin. Barehanded and thrown it over. Zyla, though, put the exhaust thrusters on there and made it over at first. A close play. Probably was a tie goes to the runner there. But now he puts the bases loaded here and puts a lot here on Sprengel coming into this game.
Bases are loaded for Brett Netzer. 1 for 2 on the afternoon as the curveball from Sprengel misses low.
And this just isn't what Wareham needs, to have Brett Netzer come to bat, the guy that they dropped off their roster, and for him to possibly tie this game back up with one swing.
2-0 lead for the Gatemen. Here is the 1-0 pitch. It's up in the zone as Coach Gassman gets Netzer's attention, pointing to his eyes, and he's saying, be smart up there. Here's the pitch. This one's inside, and it's quickly a 3-0 count to Brett Netzer here with the bases loaded.
And if you're Netzer, you got to sit back right now and let this guy throw a strike. He'll take a walk and a run at this point.
Here's the pitch. This one's low. It's a bases loaded walk. 1 run comes across for Hyannis, and it's a 2-1 ball game here in the 5th.
Man, like I said, your Hyannis are going to take that. And now if you're Ford Proctor, even though he's a guy that hasn't been really swinging the bat like crazy when it comes to him being back up here since leaving for a couple of days, now even more, you're waiting for this guy in Sprengel to throw a strike because he just threw a 4-pitch walk to Netzer and he allowed a run to score.
Well, Proctor has had a hit in every game since his return, but you're right, he's only had 1 multi-hit game in those lines. As finally Sprengel pumps across a strike. The snap throw down from Wenson to third is not in time. It didn't look like Tovalin was really expecting it.
But neither did Henry. And Wenson was hoping that at least Tovalin would be able to make the grab over.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's low in the dirt. Sprengel, we mentioned in his 5th appearance here on the Cape, got a win against Chatham, pitched 3 innings, struck out 7 in the 9 batters face. Proctor ropes this one to second to Cole Freeman, who grabs it on the line drive. The flip over to second, however, is not in time. And Hyannis just avoiding a double play there. Good heads-up play there from Peter Zyla at second base.
Yeah, and that probably was only helped because Hyannis has a guy at third, which meant Zyla probably wasn't going to take that much of a lead at second. So there wasn't a guy that he probably would have had a bigger lead and probably would have been able to get back to second, and there likely would have been 2 outs.
Proctor roped that one to second, and Rutherford swings to the first pitch. Out into center, Bartotsik has got it. Tagging from third is Cody Henry, and that will pump across the tying run for Hyannis. It's a 2-2 ball game here in the 5th, and now runners on the corners with 2 outs. And Jordan Rogers coming to the plate, who doubled in his last plate appearance.
And Hyannis once again doing it here at Wareham, tying the game back up at 2 by any means necessary. Hit by a pitch and a walk, and now another walk scores a run, and a sacrifice fly out scores a run. And they'll take that against Wareham, who scored both of their runs off of sacrifice hits.
Small ball here at Spillane Field. As Hyannis has tied this game in the top of the 5th inning. Bases loaded and none were out. And now there's runners on the corners for Jordan Rogers and 2 outs. Springer pumps across a strike on the inside half. As Sprengel will step off for a moment. Didn't get the sign from Wenson. But now he does. He'll come set. Looks over at Netzer at first. Netzer doing a little dance. He'll kick and fire. Netzer on the delayed steal will take off, slide in safely at second. No throw down from Wenson. And now runners on second and third with 2 outs for Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, and Gassman knew if Netzer was going to steal, Brenson probably was going to throw over to second unless he knew for sure he was going to have him, because then he would have allowed Peter Zeiler to make his way over to home probably for a close play.
Here's the 1-1 pitch as Rogers swings through that one. Lights coming on here at Spillane Field. As a field covered in shade now. Big at bat for Rogers. Here's the 2-2. Here's the 2-1 pitch. He fouls it off his foot. That one looked painful.
Yeah, and Rogers kind of walking around here. Gassman going up to talk to him for a second too, and you see a lot to happen. You've seen a lot with Rogers too, where he kind of kneels it down. It looks like it probably hit on the right side, or his right lower part of his leg there, and gets right back in the batter's box though.
The 1-2 pitch from Sprenger, curveball, and Rogers just gets a piece of it to foul it off behind home plate.
And this is what you got to do. To Rogers, you've seen everyone come up here and do the same thing. Just keep fighting. You saw against Bain. Now you're seeing against Sprengel. And just keep pumping. I mean, Sprengel looks like he's found his spot a little more now than early on, but still defensively, you got to keep going here.
Sprengel kicks and fires. Rogers gets this one off the end of the bat, sends it foul to the first base dugout.
And the Netzer play also helps because you get a great contact off by Rogers, and you probably have the chance to score 2 runs as well and take the lead.
Runners in scoring position for Jordan Rogers. The 1-2 pitch fouled off this time into the third base dugout. He has spoiled a couple of pitches from Nick Sprengel, most of them good off-speed pitches on the outer half. Rogers trying to find any way on here with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss from Jordan Rogers as he falls down to the dirt after that one. He leaves 2 stranded for Hyannis, but the Harbor Hawks, they tie this ball game at 2s here in the top of the 5th inning. We'll head to the bottom half of the inning. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham's Bar and Resort and Spa is New England's premier oceanfront resort, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Bottom of the 5th inning as Max Soroller still on the mound for Hyannis. He only lasted 1 inning against Brewster in his last start, but has been solid here today for the Harbor Hawks. has not let up any extra base hits, as Wareham has only really gotten 4 base hits off of him today. They've done some damage on the base paths, but that's really about it. Max Soroller has been on top of his game tonight. In steps Harrison Wenson, as Sorolla will deliver the first pitch here in the bottom of the 5th. It's a strike on the outside half.
Yeah, and Sorolla now seeing that Hyannis is fighting back in this. They've chased the starting pitcher for Wareham off, and now he'll look to try and get through this 5th inning on his own and keep this a tie game.
Fouled away by Wenson, back into the screen. And the count quickly moves to 0-2.
And that's all you want. I mean, you've seen that one game with Sorolla and what he can do and how he had a stellar game, and now he just has to work this one inning. And he's gotten the guys really just to get out on the defense here of Hyannis.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Sorolla. Curveball is blocked by Chris Cohen. Harrison Wenson trying to continue his double streak. He's hit a double in his past 3 games. Also has a 5-game hitting streak going. Here's the pitch. A curveball is dropped in there for strike 3. Great looking pitch from Max Sorolla as he gets the first out of the inning here in the 5th.
Yeah, Wenson flinched on it. He wanted to go for it, but he pulled it back, and for him, walked right back because he knew he missed the swing there, and he gets sit down by Sorolla here in the 5th.
With a 9-hitter in Preston Grand Prix, who fouled out in his last at-bat. Sorolla misses the strike zone on the first pitch. Sorolla kicks and fires. This one is popped up and fouled out of play over that first base dugout. Slight breeze picking up here as the humidity finally cooling off just a bit. The 1-1 pitch is a curveball. It's in there for strike 2.
Maybe it'll blow the bugs away.
I don't think that's going to happen. I wish it would.
A man can dream.
Yeah. Those of you who remember our Hawk Talk last time that we were here in Wareham, if you didn't see it, you should go look at it to get a better idea of what we're talking about. Swing and a miss from Preston Grand Prix. Curveball on the outside corner from Sorolla, and there's 2 up and 2 down.
Yeah, I was going to say highly recommended video. You'll definitely get a laugh out of it. We provided some analysis, but I think you're going to get a laugh out of it more than you're going to check our analysis on the game.
Yeah, there wasn't much to be said there as we were just trying to get out of here as fast as possible. Hopefully that doesn't happen tonight. Joey Bartosik at the plate, swings at the first pitch, and a great grab from Busby on the high chopper. Strong throw on to first. A 1-2-3 inning here in the 5th for Max Sorolla after a great play from Dylan Busby as he goes up and gets that high chopper. Nonetheless, we'll head to the 6th, the 2-2 ball game here at Spillane Field. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The third baseman, number 3, Dylan.
Top of the 6th inning here from Spillane Field here. A tie ball game 2-2 between the Hyannis Harbrox and the Wareham Gatemen. Jack Heffer, Gabe Sustig on top of the perch here at Spillane Field. And Hyannis will be back up to bat here in the top of the 6th. Going up against Nick Sprengal. And it will be Dylan Busby, Trey Truitt, and Chris Cullen for Hyannis. Sprengal deals, and that one's tipped, and that one hits Wenson, and it might have hit in the one spot where his mask is not protecting him, like kind of slightly below near his chest area, and he is down.
He is taking an absolute beating today. I think he's going to be all right, but geez, that's the third time that he has had to take a break here. And I can't even imagine. I've always believed that the toughest players on the field are the catchers. I mean, number one, they got to crouch every single play. Number two, they're taking foul balls off of their body, just like that one. Just a wear and tear on the body through what probably is now 80-plus games for Harrison Wenson.
After being checked by the medical staff, and he'll get an ovation here from the crowd, he'll stand back in here as he and Busby, you can see him, a smile across his face there, and that's good. As I mentioned, Hyannis and Wareham tied at 2 in the 3 games that they played against each other. And combined, they've been pretty close when it comes to a lot of stats in these 3 games for them. Hyannis, 12 runs, 20 hits, and 5 errors in those games, in the 3 games. Wareham, 10 runs, 27 hits, and 3 errors for them. As Sprengal deals, and that one's fouled away by Busby for 1-2 count. And this evening, both teams tied at 2 runs. Hyannis with 4 hits and Wareham with 3. So they played each other pretty close every time they played for the most part. Sprengal, the 1-2 pitch to Cullen. That one's upstairs. And it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Excuse me, to Busby.
Yeah, both these teams just very evenly matched. Similar strength and weaknesses.
That one down low and inside to Busby, and he works a payoff pitch awaiting here from Sprengal.
But really, Hyannis has dominated so far in these 3 games, as they should have won that one.
And that one locked Busby up inside, but it was too far in there on the fastball. And Hyannis gets a leadoff walk, the second time they've got a leadoff man today.
The center fielder,
And again, just talking about that last game here, 5-4 loss, as all 4 earned runs were unearned. Or excuse me, all 4 runs were unearned against Hyannis. As they slowly came back, Dylan Busby hit a game-tying double in that one, where he just exploded with 3 hits. But Hyannis, they just couldn't put it away. They were right in it until the bottom of the 8th inning, where Wareham got the go-ahead run.
Truitt lifts that one out of play over the Wareham dugout. Misspoke. It's the 3rd time a leadoff man has gotten aboard, as Brett Netzer had that leadoff single in the 1st inning. But, yeah, that was the game that Hyannis came back 2 times, almost came back a 3rd time in that game, as that one misses upstairs by the elbows of Truitt. And it'll be a 1-1 count. And that was the play that Destino made a diving catch in left field to hold Hyannis from scoring a run and tying that game. 1-1 is lifted as well, and that one's going to go out of play in general direction a little bit farther for Truitt. 1-2 count for him, as Chris Cullen, who led off the previous inning and scored a run, awaits on deck. Dylan Busby over at first after a walk. No outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Sprengal, the lefty, checks and kicks, and that one is going to hit Trey Truitt. And he will take a base as well. Looks like it might have hit him. It did hit him in the leg. And so now it's 2 hit by pitches this evening for Hyannis. And Truitt walking gingerly over to first. He'll look like he'll be all right after he walks it out a little bit. And Cullen now, who was the other hit by pitch in that 5th inning, steps in now here against Springal.
And I think Harrison Wentz was a little bit upset with that, as he thought that Truitt turned into it, but really Truitt was thinking about swinging on the play, and he turned his body towards the mound. Harrison Wentz kind of threw up his hands to the home plate umpire. But now a very similar situation to the 5th inning here, where Hyannis scored those 2 runs, as they had 2 runners on with no outs early in that inning.
So now both Tovaline and Sheets are in. Sheets charges in halfway into the infield. Bunt is drawn, but it goes foul by Cullen on the third base side, and he will get a strike and return back to home.
Wareham is one of those weird fields where the infield grass acts as the foul line from home plate to third. And really, if you get a bunt down, once you get that bunt down, you just put it in the grass, it's not going to bounce around. It really just kind of stays put, and it won't trickle foul.
Especially since it's rained today, too, so that'll definitely play a factor in the bunt on the grass as well. Here, Sheets does the same thing, running over to first, and halfway is Freeman, but he stops back as Springal makes the move off of the mound to chase Busby back to second. We'll see if Wareham does the same thing again. And looks like Jerry Weinstein's going to meet back on the mound here with Springal to talk it over here. Probably defensively here, as still no outs and 2 men on for Hyannis in a tie ball game at 2 here at Spillane Field.
Yeah, and we'll see what Weinstein decides to do here, as both Busby and Truitt walking in to talk to Ron Polk and Gassman. He'll leave Springal in the game as he trots back to the dugout. We'll see if Cullen can get that bunt down. He's got a strike on him. We'll see what Springal can do. He'll probably drop a curveball, I would assume, in on this 0-1 count, as he got some waste pitches to use. And the curveball in all likelihood, would make it more difficult for Chris Cullen.
Springal stares on over to first. He deals to Cullen, but that one is upstairs, and it'll be a 1-1 count. I was going to mention here at Spillane Field, it's hard to tell when Wareham has a guy warming up. The only telling sign is when you see a ball lob over the view of the fence, meaning the catcher's throwing it back. Cullen, that one rises up and out of play, almost near the light post on the right field side, and he'll sit with a 1-2 count. So there is someone warming up for Wareham, although we have no clue who it could be. Springal deals, and that one's fouled. Opposite direction, right by the school building, does Cullen, and he stays alive at a 1-2 count.
Yeah, and that Wareham bullpen conveniently located behind the right field fence, behind all those banners. They can probably get away with a lot back there.
Cullen swings and misses at the breaking pitch, down low for strike 3, and the first out is away for Hyannis.
Good pitch here from Springal. The lefty just drops in that looping curveball, and Cullen just trying to protect the plate. Curveball drops out of the zone, and Cullen chases it. And now Cody Henry is going to have to produce a good at-bat here with 1 out and 2 runners on.
As Henry now will get to move to the right-handed side of the batter's box, facing the lefty in Springal. Springal deals, and Henry lifts that one.
Ooh.
And it just barely avoided a fan there as it curved around the netting and under the seats there, as that was probably a couple of inches away from a Wareham fan.
That's what we worry about when there's a left-hander up. Hasn't happened yet, knock on wood.
There's a lot of wood. I was going to say there's a lot of wood around being up here on the perch. Henry fouls that one away behind home plate, and he'll sit with an 0-2 count. Henry, it's been a while since he's been in the right-handed batter's box, and we've seen that he likes to be more comfortable there, although he did go 3 for 3 yesterday in the left side against YD. But he has a chance here with A swing to possibly knock in Busby. Busby's going to run over to third, and he slides in safely. Grabbed nicely, I might add, by Tovaline, because that one might have trickled into left field, and Busby might have scored. Truitt also advances as well, and Hyannis doing it to get in scoring position, but also to avoid any double play action here by Wareham, as they still only sit with one out here in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, just a bad throw there from Wenson. 6th stolen base of the year for Busby.
Misses outside. Wenson is able to grab it, and it's now a 2-2 count to Cody Henry. And Truitt over second.
And that double steal, just a game changer here with 1 out in the inning. And a good runner on Busby at third.
Sprengel deals. That one goes foul on the third base side. Tovaline grabs it. But Sprengel, both he and Bain in his last inning of work where he came in the fifth but was not able to get a run, have both had to work very hard here against these Hyannis batters and have paid for it so far with 2 runs. The pitch to Henry, and he flies that one out once again, and he stays alive here with a 2-2 count.
Yeah, he's right on it. Just hasn't knocked it fair yet and got a lot of power. Just needs to get under one. Score Busby from third.
Sprengel kicks, steals, and Henry gets the chopper, and it gets past the diving sheets and trickles out into right field. Wade will deal it, but he will not even make an attempt over to home. And it's a 2 RBI single for Cody Henry, and Hyannis leads 4-2.
What a great piece of hitting there from Cody Henry as he just chops this one right down the right field line. It bounces past that first base bag on the powder. And Henry with a great at-bat, 2 great at-bats this evening as he drew a walk and came around to score in the in the 5th inning. So Cody Henry, we've seen some great plate appearances from him in these past 3 games.
First pitch tipped into the glove as a fastball blew by Peter Zyla there. Zyla also had a stellar bunt on the third base line, which loaded the bases and helped push Hyannis to score in that inning. He also, unfortunately, was left stranded at third, though, as he half swings at that one outside on being 0-2 count.
I was going to say Zyla would maybe want to think about bunting once again, as that bunt was pretty. And Tovaline is way deep at third.
Sprengel kicks and deals, and that one is lifted into shallow center field. Bartosik standing there, and he will make the grab, and 2 outs are away here against Hyannis as Netzer, the leadoff man, will step back up to the plate. Cody Henry still standing over at first, but Hyannis a 4-2 lead after Henry 2 RBI single down the right field line has scored and has given Hyannis their first lead of the evening. Sprengel stares over at first. First pitch, fastball way upstairs, gloved by Wenson, and it'll be for ball 1 to Netzer.
And Netzer put together a great at-bat against Sprengel. Drew that bases loaded walk to score a run.
Throw back over by Sprengel. Cody Henry stands up safely. Netzer so far 1 for 2 with that leadoff single. Flew out and then walked in a stolen base. Fastball more by the letters of Netzer, and he'll sit with 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch, fastball upstairs. Seemed like a waste pitch there from Sprengel, and it's a 2-1 count to Netzer.
Maybe they thought Cody Henry was going on the pitch. A called hit and run potentially, but nothing going on with 2 outs here in the 6th.
Sprengel throws it down. That one was low. Sheets makes a grab down by his legs to keep Henry only at first. 2-1 count here for Sprengel As he fires in, misses in the dirt. Glove nicely by Wenson as it was speeding past him to avoid into the backstop. And it's a 3-1 count to Netzer.
And again, Netzler working a good at-bat against the lefty. Doesn't seem to be bothered by Sprengel in the off-speed. Really laying off. Usually you see a left-handed pitcher taking advantage of it.
Fastball right down the middle by Sprengel. And he works his way to a full count against Netzer. 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning, Hyannis leading 4-2 after scoring 2 runs in this inning. Sprengel deals that one, flown out into left field, and it will stay in play, but far enough away from Destino, as would have to play it near a football post. Seeing as here it's Blaine Field, they also play football when they're not playing baseball, as they have to put up the lining out here in the outfield. Probably similar to in Oakland. Swing and a miss down low by Netzer at the fastball, and he goes down on strikes. But Hyannis scores 2 runs off of a 2 RBI single by Cody Henry. They make it 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning of play on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, and a 4-2 game. The Hyannis Harbocks lead the Wareham Gatemen as Cody Henry scored 2 runs on a single down the right field line to give Hyannis the lead that they stand with now. And Max Soroller will come out here in the 6th inning and try to hold the line here for Hyannis. First pitch, fastball upstairs. Tried to motion Freeman to go for it. He only turns at it slightly.
Well, Max Roller with his best inning in the 5th. Sat down the side on 2 dominant strikeouts and a good play from Busby at 3rd.
And he's still firing in that fastball. And it'll be a 1-1 count to Freeman. Busby sitting right on the grass for Hyannis. 1-1 pitch, breaking down low and outside by Soroller. And it'll be a 2-1 count.
The curveball has really been working for Max Roller tonight, as it did against Harwich, one of his, probably his best pitch of the night.
2-1 pitch, that one upstairs, a fastball to Freeman. And the one thing that being 5'9" probably helps if you're Freeman playing baseball is your strike zone. Gets very limited here with Soroller, who's been hitting the fastball upstairs to a lot of guys that's been getting called for strikes. But with Freeman, where he's been hitting it, it's about above his neck range. But Freeman will line that one straight into left field, into the glove of Rogers, and it's a leadoff base hit here for Wareham in the bottom of the 6th.
The left fielder, number 20.
And that pitch was at his neck, too.
South Carolina.
Just a great hitter in Cole Freeman out of LSU, who has been dominant up here in 10 games on the Cape. So he picks up his second hit tonight.
So now in steps Alex Destino, the left fielder for Wareham. So Roller will work from the stretch here in the bottom of the sixth with his team leading by 2. And he'll throw back over. Safely will be Freeman. Destino is 0 for 2 tonight. Both of them being sacrifices, though, and both of them scoring the 2 runs that Wareham has up to this point. But this time a sacrifice will get him nothing much more, but probably a base runner over to second. Freeman, though, is running on the play. Throw over, and call is safe at second. And Freeman with another stolen base, his third of the evening here for Wareham. And Freeman, that's another thing for being 5'9", helping you out as well with the speed off the ground there. And he gets over to second. He puts himself in scoring position with no outs in the inning and a 1-0 count to Destino.
Just steals at will.
Roller kicks that one, lifted into dead center field. Truitt is back. Freeman will tag up, though, from second. And that one flies in, and that was actually a closer play than Freeman probably intended, even for Dylan Busby, as he was kind of just waiting for it to drive in here, and it kind of trickled into him. Freeman now makes his way over to third, and he puts himself 90 feet away with only 1 out. And Colton Shaver will step in, but he will likely face a new pitcher on the mound. Gassman steps in here as we wait to see, and it looks like he has not yet made a decision, but he has now actually pointed to the bullpen, and Sorola's day will be done. But a much better performance for Max Sorola, the Southeastern Louisiana line. He will leave today with his team leading 4-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As we will take a break here, as Matthew Naylor will be coming in on the mound for Hyannis here in the bottom of the 6th inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Colton Shaver, Brigham Young.
Bottom of the 6th inning, 1 out. 4-2 lead for Hyannis, although a runner 90 feet away for Wareham and Cole Freeman. And Max Sorola's day is done. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And Matthew Naylor out of North Florida will step in now here. He will face Colton Shaver and Shaver fouls that first pitch away for strike one. And Jack Heffer basically finished feasting on a chili dog here. So
No, Gabe. A meatball sub. Chili dog.
Chili dog.
A
I
meatball
stand corrected.
A meatball sub topped with chili, extra chili.
The 0-1 from Naylor. Broken bat right into the glove, but it pops out for Rutherford. Freeman will come across to score. And the Wareham Gatemen make it 4-3 off of a wild play there by Shaver. As Rutherford hops up, he almost grabs it in his glove, and Shaver basically chips a side of the bat off of it. And 1-run deficit now here for the Wareham Gatemen.
Sorry, Gabe. I'm finishing up my meatball chili dog.
That's all right. Take your time.
I'll give you the review really quickly between pitches. Unbelievable. Imagine chili and a meatball sub combined.
Naylor deals, and that one misses down low to Sheets for ball one. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I can't believe I didn't think about this beforehand.
You can't think of anything else like you can relate it to?
No. I honestly, give me a second. Give me in between pitches.
All right, well, Naylor, the sidewinder, deals, and that one's called for a strike and a 1-1 count to Sheets.
All right, here, how about this? All right, ate the chili dog at Chatham, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was a little bit difficult because, hot dog, kind of rough to bite through. The meatballs just make it so tender, the sandwich, and the bread is just so perfectly encircling these things that, number one, it's not messy like the hot dog from Chatham. And number two, the texture and the combination in your mouth is just delectable.
The 1-1 for Naylor here as he sets and deals. That one is lifted into dead center field. Truitt moving back, still going. He's getting under it and improves his positioning for a throw if Shaver's going to try and run, but he will retreat back over and to our way. I mean, at Chatham, they use the toasted buns as well. And when you put chili on that enough, and they put a lot on it, that really just eliminates any room for error when you don't want to drop anything on it. Well, they were not the same buns here that I saw. So maybe that kind of helped you out a little bit with everything that was on top of that meatball sub.
Yeah, just a bigger bun that really helped encapsulate everything in the sandwich.
Breaking pitch on the outside half by Naylor for strike one called on Adrian Tovaline. Naylor sets on in as he will continue to watch and kicks and deals, and that one's popped into the air. Henry moving back, still at the wall, and he can make the catch at the fence. And the inning is retired here for Wareham, although they score 1 run off of a broken bat liner into right center field by Colton Shaver to make it a 4-3 game here at Spillane Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, a 4-3 lead for Hyannis after, top of the 7th inning, as they didn't change the scoreboard yet. It slightly confused me. But top of the 7th, 4-3 lead for Hyannis after Wareham did score in the bottom of the 9th to make it the score that it is now. And there will be a new pitcher on the mound. Jake Mathis deals. First pitch he gives is lined into center field. Reaching in and grabbing is Bartosik as he moves into left field. And he makes the first out quickly here for Proctor and for Mathis.
Man, Proctor really struck it well, but one pitch and one out for the new pitcher, and Jake Mathis making his 6th appearance on the Cape. Really has only had 2 tough outings. His first outing against Orleans, in which he gave up 5 earned runs in 2 2/3, and his 4th outing against Brewster, where he gave up 4 earned runs in 2 2/3.
Some late 4th of July, now 5th fireworks occurring in the distance here in Wareham. As Mathis deals down low and a 2-0 count to Zach Rutherford. Rutherford so far struck out, singled, and sacrificed into center field to score an RBI that he has. Hyannis still holding a 1-run lead, but now looking to increase that. As defensively, one change as well, along with pitching for Wareham, as Joey Bart will replace Harrison Wenson behind home plate. Mathis deals. That one hits and right near us there, as that one will sit on top of the Hyannis dugout. Getting a good okay there from the trainer, Jordan DeBenecourt. Shout out to him as he was making sure we were okay. But
wow, that fire is ablaze in the dugout. Holy cow. Or excuse me, in the bullpen.
It's getting slightly aggressive, but a 2-2 count to Rutherford. He gets a chopper in the dirt, grabbed nicely by Tovalin. He throws over to first and puts 2 away for Hyannis.
You just look straight into right field, and you just see this massive fire. Holy cow.
Jordan Rogers from Tennessee.
As they definitely begin to like that a little more. As
you think they have like a wood pile back there?
They have something. As normally you see a much thicker smoke coming there in that right-hand corner of the field, but it kind of died down, which is probably why they're lighting it back up. Jordan Rogers steps in, takes a ball outside by Mathis. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning, a 4-3 lead for Hyannis. Mathis deals. That one is lined, but right into the standing glove of Grand Prix at short, and Hyannis goes down in order. They still hold a 1-run lead here as we head to the bottom of the 7th on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Bottom of the 7th inning, and A 4-3 lead for the Hyannis Harborough. Matthew Naylor will stay in for Hyannis
Number 14, Austin
after
Wade from Texas
getting the
Christian.
final 2 outs in that game. As Naylor sets and deal, and the first pitch misses outside for ball 1. Naylor sets in, and that one falls in there for a strike. Naylor normally coming in for only 1 out, but he relieved Max Soroller still to acquire 2 outs. 1 run did come across for Wareham, though. Half swinging there is Austin Wade. As he sits in with a 1-2 count here. Soroller deals and swinging, but just fouling it off is Wade, and it'll be a 2-2 count.
Yeah, and Wade's still looking for that first hit up here on the Cape. Getting his first start today after being picked up by Wareham. Mentioned him earlier at a TCU. Naylor doing good work here in relief.
Naylor deals. That one is lined, and it's going to drop into left center field. Truitt will go and handle it. He trips and falls, though, and standing up safely at second will be Wade, and the tying run is in scoring position for Wareham.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of outfielders have trouble in the field tonight. I mean, you see there Truitt just sliding and tripping up a little bit after he gets to that ball. And Naylor in the 6th inning, that was the first run that came across when he has been on the mound in 6 appearances. And now it looks like Wareham getting to him here in the 7th.
Hyannis and Wareham have gone back and forth here in Spillane Field last time, and they look to do so again here, or at least Wareham does, as Cullen will come out and talk to Matt Naylor, as Joey Bart will see his first at-bat of the evening here, replacing Wenson. Cullen and Naylor conversation is over, but not before Weinstein will have a chat with Wade as he runs over near the Wareham dugout. As their conversation quickly finishes, and we'll get back at it. Bottom of the 7th, no outs. The tying run at second for Wareham. Some warm-ups going on in the Hyannis bullpen. As from the looks of it, for the Wareham bullpen, Naylor sets, though, but he will kick back and look over to second. From the Wareham bullpen, while there's a lot of activity with the fire, not many activity throwing pitches, as Ron Polk will step out of the dugout here and give defensive cues here for Hyannis. As Busby moves onto the grass, as does Henry. They both charge in with the bunt shown there by Bart, but that one falls and misses, and it'll be for ball 1 to Naylor.
And Joey Bart, who started the season 2 of 14, 5 of his last 14 now. He's seeing a lot more pitches. He's been getting more walks as of late, seeing the ball better.
Naylor will deal either way, showing the bunt, and it gets nothing of the bat shown there by Bart for strike 1. Still pitched, even though Ford Proctor ran in over behind second to force back Wade. So possibly a design play by Hyannis to force the runner to stay close to second. Naylor. The 1-1 pitch showing bunt again, and that one missing once again the fastball by Bart. He hasn't even made contact with anything yet to go foul, and he sits with 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And this is a big at-bat here for Matt Naylor. If he can get through the bottom of the lineup in Joey Bart and Preston Grand Prix. Strand, Wade at second. That would be a big win here for Hyannis after the leadoff double.
The 1-2 by Matt Naylor, and that one misses outside as it breaks away from the plate. And it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes to Joey Bart. Naylor sets once again. Stares on over at second, deals, and that one misses outside as well, up higher. And a full count is worked by Joey Bart here in the 7th with no outs.
Yeah, good work from Bart. He's seen the ball. As he's seeing more pitches and at-bats, he's reading the release point from Matt Naylor, which usually gets hitters. And it's to his benefit.
Payout pitch by Naylor, and he nails Bart in the upper section by his arm. And so after a full count is worked, Bart gets hit, and now 2 men are aboard for Wareham, still with no outs. And Preston Grand Prix in the 9 spot will step in here for Wareham.
Yeah, and that one just gets away from Naylor. Tried to move it inside as Ray Korn is going to come out and talk to the infield. Maybe possibly make a change. Excuse me, Ron Polk. My fault.
I don't think he'd be happy if you mistook one for the other.
No, but they are best friends, so.
But Polk is now out there talking to the infield, as he'll likely be setting up some defense for the latter part of this inning. But it actually seems like he made the call to the bullpen here for Hyannis. So Naylor's day will be done. Al Pesto will be stepping in for him, and we'll take a break here. 2 runners on, no outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning, a 4-3 lead for Hyannis on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Still here in the bottom of the 7th inning of play at Spillane Field. A 4-3 lead here for Hyannis, but that is in danger at the moment. 2 runners on for Wareham. Al Pesto, the righty Duke Blue Devil, steps in now. This will be his 8th appearance as he steps in with a 3.72 ERA, 9 2/3 innings pitched, 12 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts as the defense is moved around here as we expected from Ron Polk. The third baseman and first baseman, Busby and Henry, charged into home. and Proctor and Rutherford crisscrossed to go to the respective bases that were left untouched on the corners.
That was absurd. Rutherford at second, sprinting to third, and Proctor sprinting from short to first. That was ridiculous. That's Ron Polk.
At least from my experience, that is the classic Ron Polk play that I've usually seen, is that crisscross move in by the infield. Pesto, though, sets in and deals, shows bunt. That one's going to trickle and stay. Busby has the throw over to first, and he makes that play for the first out, but the sacrifice works, and both runners advance, and now both put themselves in scoring position.
Yeah, and that was, ultimately what the crazy wheel play was for Hyannis, to try to get the runner at third, but a really nice bunt from Grand Prix, and now one down with the two hot hitters in this lineup, and Joey Bartosic and Cole Freeman, who have just been doing it on the base paths today for Wareham. Freeman has 2 hits tonight.
And it looks like for here, Austin Wade's is going to be subbed out here as Jonathan Engelman will step in here for Austin Wade at third.
Joey Bartosic from George Washington.
So it'll be Engelman at third, and Joey Bart will be over at second. Pesto, the righty, kicks, deals, fires a fastball in upstairs and misses for ball 1 to Joey Bartosic in the leadoff spot here for Wareham, with a chance to, at the very least, tie this game up.
And you see Proctor and Rutherford both halfway, corners in for Hyannis.
The 1-0 from Pesto, and that one's line into the glove, though, of Rutherford. His only play, though, is to first. A run will score in Engelman, and we're tied back up at 4 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Hey, great productive at-bat there by Joey Bartosic. Hits to the right side. That's what every coach tells you when you've got runners on second and third. Late on the fastball from Al Pesto, and tie ball game here in the 7th, as Hyannis has been all too familiar with tight ball games in the last few days.
Barry will make his way over to third, and now that's 3 of the 4 runs scored by Wareham have all been off of sacrifice hits. Pesto will look to keep this game tied with a runner 90 feet away for Wareham as he faces Cole Freeman, and he drops that fastball in there for strike 1.
And aforementioned, Freeman with 2 base hits tonight, 3 stolen bases, and has come around to score twice as well. Just producing in the 2-hole.
Pesto deals, check swing. They'll ask if he went. He did not. And it'll be a 1-1 count to Cole Freeman. Freeman has scored 2 of the 4 runs that have come across for Wareham. 1 in the first and 1 in the 6th, and reached third in the 3rd inning, but was left stranded there. 1-1 pitch. He checked his swing, didn't pull it around, but it's called for a strike off the fastball by Pesto. And he's 1 strike away from leaving this inning at a tie ball game.
Yeah, and he came in with 2 inherited runners on with no outs. He's gotten 2 tough outs.
The 1-2 pitch. That one is lined into center field. Truitt diving in as he was in shallow center field defensively by Ron Polk, and it works out. Truitt grabs the final out, and he leaves this inning tied at 4. As we head to the top of the 8th inning from Spillane Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning here. And we're all tied back up here at 4. As at one point we were tied at 2 between these two teams in the Hyannis Hard Rocks and the Wareham Gatemen. As continuing on the mound is Mathis, as his team has tied this game back up, and he will face Busby, Truitt, and Cullen for Hyannis. And he smokes a fastball down low by the knees of Busby for strike 1. Busby so far is 0 for 2 with a walk. And he lines that one, and he'll get his first hit of the evening, a leadoff one. And he stands on base here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, great way to lead it off for Dylan Busby, who, as aforementioned last night, reached base every single time he was up, but has struggled a little bit tonight. Reached base his last 2 plate appearances now, and Busby, 6 stolen bases on the year already up here. He'll be a threat to steal. You can almost guarantee that he'll take second.
Trey Truitt will now step in here in the right-handed batter's box. Mathis will throw back over, knowing Busby's speed. Busby does slide back in safely. Truitt is 0 for 2 today with a long ball into right field, where anywhere else, aside from here at Wareham, maybe a couple of other places, but that ball would likely have been gone. And then he was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning as that one escapes Bart, and Busby no need to steal a base as it'll be a pass ball, and he stands in scoring position as the leadoff run is there for Hyannis with no outs.
Yeah, the go-ahead. Dylan Busby
run.
really wants to. I mean, he could take third, too, to be honest. We've seen him take third already tonight, yeah. So he chats up Preston Grand Prix and Cole Freeman at second. They come over and start talking to him.
Grand Prix basically standing 3 feet behind Busby. Pitch by Mathis. Fastball gets in there on Truitt for a 1-1 count. So I was saying Truitt was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning, had a stolen base as well, and was one of the 2 runs scored in that 6th inning to make it, at that point, 4-2 for Hyannis. And he lifts that one far as well into right field. Moving back almost at the warning track is Engelman. He makes the catch, but Busby will move over to third. Only 1 out was drawn, though, by Hyannis, and they have a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and that's the second time tonight that Trey Truitt has really gotten a hold of a ball and smacked it out into right field. But again, just doesn't have the carry, and the outfield fence just jutting out straight into center. And it's 330 down that right field line, so it really is a shot to get the ball out of here.
So Busby, the go-ahead run is there for Hyannis, and that fastball misses down low and outside by Mathis to Chris Cullen, who so far has flown out, was hit by a pitch and scored a run, and has struck out swinging. Mathis deals, and that one is lined in, avoids the glove of Preston Grand Prix at short. A run scores easily for Busby. It's an RBI single for Cullen, and Hyannis leads 5-4.
Just out of Grand Prix's reach, too. Could have doubled off Busby. And I think if the infield is back there, which obviously it wouldn't be with 1 out and a runner on third and tie ball game this late in the game, but I think Tovlin could have been able to get to that liner.
Third RBI scored for Cullen. And the 6th run put in here by Dylan Busby, and they give Hyannis a 5-4 lead with still only 1 out. Throw back over to Cullen at first by Mathis. So still Hyannis with chance to do some damage here and increase their lead in this top of the 8th inning. And you can see the legs moving around in the right field fence behind there for Wareham. Cody Henry up to bat. He moves back to the left-handed batter's box, swings and misses at the breaking pitch down low for strike 1.
And it looks like Tyler Stevens, the setup man, getting ready out in left field for Hyannis. Warming up. He's been the go-to guy in the 8th.
Mathis deals, fouled, and gloved Grabbed there, excuse me, nicely by I believe it was Weinstein, although I think he might be sitting by the net. Unfortunately, that would have been a fantastic play by him. An 0-2 count, though, for Cody Henry. Mathis deals and swung on a miss at the fastball upstairs by Henry. And 2 are away for Hyannis.
Well, hopefully Hyannis can keep this lead through the next 2 innings, as really when Stevens and Cave have gone back-to-back in the 8th and 9th, virtually no one has scored.
Breaking pitch, running is Cullen. He's sliding off the bounce from Grand Prix as it trickles out into center. The first pitch, as Chris Cullen ran for it to second, he gets a stolen base, as that first pitch was called for a ball by Peter Zyla, the DH.
Yeah, and I don't think Joey Bart had any idea that Chris Cullen was going. You heard a huge shout from the crowd and some of the players in the dugout notifying him, but just really late on the play.
First stolen base on Cape for Chris Cullen. Swing and a miss at the fastball by Zyla, and it'll be a 1-1 count.
Zyla with 2 pop-outs out into center field tonight. Just hasn't been able to get on top of the ball.
Mathis, the 0-2 pitch. He lifts that one as well into right center field. Moving back, reaching. He won't be able to make the catch as Bartosik as it trickles to the wall. Cullen will come in to score, and it'll be a 2-out RBI double for Peter Zyla, and Hyannis takes a 6-4 lead.
Great work from Peter Zyla. Nice 2-out double. Good 2-out hit, as we saw him 3 games ago with a monster double against Chatham. And really just a great at-bat from Zyla as he takes that outside pitch, knocks it right out of the reach of Bartosik. And now lead for Hyannis increased by 2 runs.
And the first RBI on Cape here for Peter Zyla, as he has helped produce for this Hyannis team tonight. Had that infield bunt that helped load the bases and move the runners over. So he has done a lot here for Hyannis, as they sit with 2 outs, and Peter Zyla sits in scoring position at second. Fastball catches Brett Netzer for a strike. Mathis, the righty, checks on over, kicks, and that one is tipped. They're going to actually say it was called fair, and Sheets will have no problem dealing that at first. And he sits down Hyannis, but the Harbor Hawks score 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning, and they make it 6-4 as we head to the bottom of the inning from Spillane Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Alex Destino.
Bottom of the 8th
South
inning,
Carolina.
and Hyannis with a 6-4 lead after scoring 2 runs in that top of the 8th inning. And, the final one coming from an RBI double with 2 outs by Peter Zyla. Al Pesto here in relief for Matt Naylor as he throws in a first pitch strike into Alex Destino for strike 1. The Blue Devil kicks, deals. That one is lifted deep into right field. Netzer back, and he makes the catch near the warning track and the wall for out number 1.
Yeah, not much you can do there if you're Alex Destino. He smoked that ball into right. I don't think it would have gotten out in other parks just because of how low it was. But really good piece of hitting there. Al Pesto, after getting rocked around a little bit against YD at Red Wilson Field, gave up 2 runs and only a third of an inning pitched, is really settled in nicely here.
Fastball misses outside by Pesto for ball 1 to Colton Shaver, the DH. Pesto, the 1-0 pitch, fastball upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes to Colton Shaver. He's 2 for 3 tonight with an RBI scored, a single in the first and the 6th, and then struck out swinging in the 3rd. Pesto will deal to him, and that fastball misses as well, and Shaver is working a 3-0 count.
Shaver with that big RBI single to tie the game up.
And that one avoiding the helmet of Shaver, and he works a 4-pitch walk by Al Pesto, and he will get on base with 1 out.
Yeah, just barely avoiding Shaver's head. And it looks like, I mean, Al Pesto's still in here in the 8th inning. This could be Al Pesto's inning, and then they could put Stevens in the 9th. But I will retract my statement now as Coach Gassman makes the trot from the dugout.
Heard the whisper in his ears, and Gassman will call on Tyler Stevens to come here in the 9th inning to get 2 outs here. A base runner on for Wareham. They trail by 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, still a 6-4 lead for Hyannis. 1 out. Colton Shaver on first after a walk given up by Al Pesto. He has now left the game and has handed the ball over to Tyler Stevens, the righty New Mexico Lobo, and he faces a first big challenge. And immediately ripping that one into right field is Gavin Sheets. Netzer, although, is under it, and he makes the second out.
Well, 2 away pretty quickly here now after Tyler Stevens steps in. Just a 1-pitch, 1-out kind of guy.
Sheets tried to take the first pitch he saw. Unfortunately for him, playing at Wareham is never kind to power hitters. And it showed right there. Really, it greatly probably benefits the best in lefty power hitters because it's a slightly shorter fence there in left field at 315 than 330 out to right. As that first pitch goes for a strike there to Adrian Tovaline.
Tovaline hitless tonight. 2 flyouts into center field.
As he swings and misses at that one into the glove of Cullen, and he sits in an 0-2 hole with Tyler Stevens.
And it looks like there is an arm warming in the bullpen for Hyannis, but Stevens honestly could be given the 9th. He's pitching well so far. Changeup looks really nice as you see Tovaline swing through that last pitch.
Stevens, the 0-2 pitch, breaks outside, down low, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tovaline.
And, you know, Gabe, it's just great to see the resilience of this Hyannis lineup coming from behind tonight, and then also after the tying run crosses, getting 2 in the next half inning.
Breaking pitch misses outside once again by Stevens, and Tovaline has worked himself to a 2-2 count. But resiliency and playing at Spillane Field have gone hand in hand here for Hyannis. Stevens, on the clap of the firework, he throws down a strike to get Tovaline out in the inning. And they still lead 6-4 as we head to the 9th inning of play here at Spillane Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 9th inning, 6-4 Hyannis leads. As up to bat will be Ford Proctor, followed by Zach Rutherford and Jordan Rogers. They will face a new pitcher, though, in Christian Togner, the righty 6'3", 215-pounder from Brown, who has only appeared in one other game, and he came in for a save. in that game, in the only inning pitch, and has no stats except for that inning pitch. He throws a first pitch strike, though, to Ford Proctor as he deals again. And that fastball gets inside by the knees of Proctor, and he sits with an 0-2 count. Proctor so far is 0 for 4. 2 flyouts, a ground out, and a line out. The 0-2 from Togner misses inside, breaking down low, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and Proctor, he's put 2 really good swings on the ball. One a liner right at the second baseman and one in the center field.
He flies that one way over the school building and fouling that one away, and he stays alive at a 1-2 count.
Just smoked it right at Cole Freeman at second, unfortunately, with the bases loaded and no outs.
Fastball misses inside to Proctor, and it'll be a 2-2 count. And really, for Hyannis, it's been the lower part of the lineup that has gotten it done this evening, from Dylan Busby on down. As Togner deals, that one is ripped into Tovaling's glove at third, launches it over to Sheets at first, and one is away.
And, you know, very similar to last night's production, although Rutherford did cross the plate twice. He was just an on-base machine yesterday. But 6 out of the 8 runs coming from the 5-hole in Truitt and below, as Hudgens, Henry, and Busby just doing some great work in the bottom of the lineup last night.
That one misses in the dirt to Zach Rutherford. Togner, fastball misses outside. While Brett Netzer and Zach Rutherford do have 2 RBIs at the top of the lineup, but most of the runs scored have been in the lower part. Busby has 2 of them, but Rutherford has a simple shot out into left center field that trickles all the way to the wall. He's going to turn and stand up safely, as manager Gassman had to immediately hold up the stop sign at third because he probably was going to try and turn that one. And it's a 1-out double here for Zach Rutherford in the top of the 9th.
Just smokes that ball into left center. He's got such great hands, and that's why he's just been an extra base hits machine as of late. I mean, Rutherford, his 10th double on the season, that leads the league. 2 home runs to go along with it, and just setting himself up for this Hyannis team. Another insurance run that could be pushed across here in the top of the 9th.
He does that here, and I say a simple shot because that is just what we've seen from Rutherford since he's been up here. And there's nothing new from that. Fastball by the knees, and avoiding that one nearly is Jordan Rogers. Rogers so far is 1 for 4. His only hit coming as a double in the 4th. Togner deals, and that one is flown out, but right into the standing glove of Bartosik as he barely moves in center. And 2 outs are away here in this top of the 9th inning.
And Rogers finishes the day 1 for 5 with a double, but really he is, like Proctor, has just hit the ball hard, just right at fielders tonight. Good day from Jordan Rogers, as he has been seeing the ball very well in his past few games.
So 2 outs and still a runner in scoring position in Zach Rutherford over at second, and he'll have Dylan Busby to try and drive him in. And it looks like they will simply intentionally walk Dylan Busby here and allow Trey Truitt to come up to bat here for Hyannis.
You know, very interesting. I don't think I've seen somebody on the Cape yet get intentionally walked with a runner in scoring position and a base open this late in the game.
I mean, especially to do it to Trey Truitt. I mean, while Trey Truitt,
Truitt's hitting well, too.
Yeah.
But they just don't want to face Dylan Busby. I mean, He reached base in his last 2 appearances and ripped a single in his last at-bat.
I mean, the one thing for Truitt, really, he's batting 256, but leads Hyannis with 24 strikeouts. So that might be the reasoning of going to him, but a very risky move.
But also second at-bats with 78.
Yeah,
so,
true.
I mean, a lot more plate appearances than some of these guys up here.
But I do agree, a very dangerous. You get why they do it with Busby, but Truitt now will definitely want to try and prove them wrong here. 2 outs here for Togner. He deals the first pitch to Truitt, and Truitt fouls that one away on the first base side for strike 1.
And that's been his biggest problem this evening is he hasn't squared the ball up quite like he needs to. All of his flyouts, he's just kind of sliced the inside half of the ball underneath it, and he hasn't gotten the full scope of it.
The 0-1 by Togner. Fastball right down the middle to Truitt, and he sits with an 0-2 count.
Great pitch there. Full Truitt on the outside half. He's just kind of frozen up by it. And now 2 outs and an 0-2 count. Truitt's got to work himself out of a jam if he wants to tack on any insurance runs for the 9th inning.
2 men on, 2 outs. Hyannis leads by 2 in the top of the 9th. Togner deals. Fastball misses upstairs and outside for ball 1. Hyannis leading 6-4 in another close game here against this Wareham Gatemen team. Togner checks over at second, deals. Truitt checks, swings. As the dugout calls out to Bart saying it's at his feet. But it's called for ball 2 and a 2-2 count to Truitt.
Yeah, Bart's just have trouble locating those pass balls. We've seen him struggle a little bit behind the plate there since coming in for Harrison Wenson, who took a beating, to say the least.
The 2-2 by Togner, swing and a miss at the fastball by Truitt. As he goes down and he leaves 2 men stranded, Hyannis still holds a 2-run lead here, 6-4, as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, the final opportunity for Wareham here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 9th inning, 6-4, Hyannis leads.
From Michigan.
As Tyler Stevens will remain in the game here as he will face Jonathan Engelman, Joey Bart, and Preston Grand Prix if that stays the same here for Wareham. The 7, 8, and 9 batters in the order for Wareham. First pitch, fastball in there on Engelman.
What a interesting monologue played from Animal House, John Belushi, to fire this what remains of the crowd here in Wareham.
Breaking pitch misses outside, and it'll be a 1-1 count to Engelman.
One of my favorite movie monologues of all time, I'd have to say. Unbelievable. Great film. And it did get some people clapping in the stands. They were cheering for Wareham to come back from 2 down.
That one goes foul on the line. Busby, although, will still make the throw over just to get some practice in here for Hyannis, but Engelman will sit with a 1-2 count.
Showing off the arm. Usually plays second, too, and he's still got a cannon.
Usually plays first and doesn't even get to show it off half the time. 1-2 count here for Stevens. Engelman steps back in. Stevens kicks, deals, and that one is slightly fouled off behind Engelman, and he stays at a 1-2 count. Engelman came in for Austin Wade, who came in and hit a double early on, and Engelman came in as a pinch runner over to second to score what at that point was the tie run at 4. The 1-2 by Stevens, and he rips that one right into the glove of Tyler Stevens, who flips it over to Cody Henry, and he puts one out away for Wareham.
And, it's great that that Tyler Stevens, that they're going to keep him in here in the 9th, as he does have 1 save on the year. That came against Falmouth, where he came into the 9th. As Garrett Cave obviously getting the save last night, now with 5 saves on the year. Also came in to pitch against YD the day before, and then pitched against Chatham on that Friday night. So Cave with a much-needed night off.
1 out is away. Stevens deals the first pitch fastball upstairs to Joey Bart. 1-0 count. Bart coming in defensively for Harrison Wenson in the 7th inning. Stevens, the 1-0 pitch, and that one is line diving, but not being able to make the play is Ford Proctor as it trickles out into center. Taking a big turn at first is Bart. He will retreat back, though. And 1 runner is aboard for Wareham here with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, good piece of hitting from Joey Bart. And ultimately, that run really not important for Hyannis. It's the run at the plate that they need to worry. It's the hitter at the plate that they need to worry about. But Stevens, he'll get a ground ball for you. He's changeup, strikes low in the zone. We'll see if he can finish off the inning.
It is Preston Grand Prix who takes the first pitch fastball down low for strike 1. Grand Prix is the first batter that Stevens will face that has been in the starting lineup, as the other 2 in Engelman and Bart were not originally there. As Preston Grand Prix swings and misses at that one, and it's an 0-2 hole.
And again, Stevens goes with those changeups low in the zone, and he gets Grand Prix swinging.
The New Mexico Lobo, Tyler Stevens, kicks, deals, and just fouled away by Grand Prix to stay alive. Ron Polk, as we can hear him shouting below us, is calling Trey Truitt in and moving him a little to right. Stevens, another 0-2 pitch, and Grand Prix deals that into the glove, though, of Busby. They get 2, but it pops out of the glove of Zach Rutherford. Bart will make his way over to third, and runners on the corners for Hyannis with still only 1 out.
And that was exactly what Tyler Stevens was looking for, a ground ball. He got it, but just unlucky. Zach Rutherford, you don't see that much. And uncharacteristic error from Rutherford. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the game, how Proctor at second base just looks a lot more natural in that position, and whereas Rutherford at shortstop has excelled a little bit more, and I think we've seen that tonight.
It seemed like for Rutherford, he turned his head before he had made the catch at second. That one is lifted into the air in shallow right field, Netzer's going to get under it. Bart is going to try and throw, but he is immediately called back to third.
Because what's the last thing that happened when Brent Netzer caught a ball out in right field and Wareham tried to run on him from third as Netzer threw out a runner at the plate here at Spillane Field.
And that was also in shallow right field. Netzer had a pretty far throw from basically his normal position. And Bart, barely that far of a lead, went into the grass partly. But a quick second out for Tyler Stevens, and he will face Cole Freeman to try and extend this inning here for Hyannis. Stevens deals, runner goes, and Hyannis could care less about Preston Grand Prix as they worry about the batter and Freeman.
And you know what? I don't know if that's really that wise because Grand Prix is that tying run. And now he's in scoring position, and you're facing a hot hitter in Cole Freeman, who's already has 2 base hits tonight.
Stevens does have the 0-1 count, though, as Cullen went out to go and talk to him. Stevens kicks and deals. Breaking pitch misses outside, and it'll be a 1-1 count to Freeman. Two outs here at the bottom of the ninth. Stevens once again deals. That one is lifted and will go way foul into the school building. And 1 strike away here for Tyler Stevens to shut the door here on the Wareham Gatemen.
Yeah, and he can't miss with this pitch. Freeman, you see, he just pulled that inside pitch. If he gets a hold of one here, it could mean 2 coming around the bases.
The 1-2 by Stevens. That one's just chopped. Busby dives in. He grabs it with his glove off the slow short hopper at third, and he puts it away for the final out of the inning. A spectacular finishing play by Dylan Busby. And Hyannis gets the 6-4 win, and they get 2 in a row here. 1 against the Wareham Gatemen. They move to 10-12, while Wareham falls to 12, 9-1. And a spectacular win, another close win here for Hyannis at Spillane Field.
Yeah, and you know, again, Hyannis coming back from being down early in this game. I mean, it was a 2-0 game headed into the 5th inning. They punch across 2 more runs, and then they just keep adding to their lead one by one. And, you know, against YD, it was the long ball on Sunday night, and on Friday night against Chatham, it was also 3 home runs that combined for those 10 runs. But here you can see that Hyannis, they've got their offenses dynamically. They can do different things besides just hit for extra bases. They can work the small ball. And the thing that you like to see the most is that throughout the game, you knew that Hyannis was going to win it. They had the confidence throughout the entire game. Good outing from Max Soroller, very solid start. And then, of course, the bullpen. They have been the strength of this team. They come in and they shut the door.
Once again, I have to repeat an impressive play by Dylan Busby to finish the game. He caught it off of a short hop in the dirt as he was charging in from third base and made the throw over. An impressive move by the Florida State Seminole. And Hyannis will get the win. And they will travel, I believe, to Cotuit tomorrow to continue on the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. So far as that will be their 3rd game for Hyannis, and they already lead 2-0 in that series.
Yeah, not convincing wins, however. Cotuit has been right on their heels and have been hot as of late. So we'll see if Hyannis can hold on for that 3rd victory against Cotuit tomorrow and keep this winning streak alive, as now 4-3 in their last 7 games. Slowly, the race to 500 is still on for Hyannis.
They will look to do that race and continue it tomorrow against Cotuit, and will look for their 3rd straight win in a row as they will head to Lowell Park. But once again, the final score here from Spillane Field, 6-4. Your Hyannis Hard Rocks take the victory here. For my broadcast partner, Jack Keffer, I'm Gabe Sussing. We hope you'll join us there. 5 p.m. start here at Cotuit there as Hyannis goes for their Game 3 of the Barnstable Patriots Cup. And once again, we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening here. You've been listening to Hard Rocks Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.